Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly and this channel is all about teaching you how to create print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, we're going to be going over how to create this design. Right here, it says, "This girl hit double digits." It's a really fun design. I used a lot of different kind of display fonts on this, and I will go ahead and show you which fonts I used and where I got them. Hint, I got them off of Fabrica, but I'll show you how I did that. And then we went ahead and used Photopea to put a clipping mask on this. So if you would like to learn how to create this design, please do stick around. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a design now for the 10-year-old birthday girl niche. And so whenever I am designing for t-shirts, I'll always use the same size. So I'm on Canva right now. I do use the Pro version. I've also had some people ask about the Pro version. It's really cheap. It's less than $15 a month. At least that's what I'm paying. And I do use all the features. And so it is definitely worth it to get the Pro version. So that's my caveat there. I am going to go ahead and start with a blank document. So I'm going to click create a design. I can also come up here to custom size. Either one of these you can use, doesn't matter. So if I hit custom size, I'm just going to go ahead and put in the size I want in pixels. You can also switch it for inches, millimeters, centimeters. If I was doing something like KDP, I would do inches, but for everything else, I am designing in pixels. And again, for t-shirts, and most things actually, I'm going to be designing in 4500 by 5400 pixels. And so we can do that, hit create a new design, and it will open up a blank page for us right here. And so this is what I'm going to be designing on. I do like to design for black. So when I'm doing this, I always like to click on the blank canvas here, and then I can change the color by coming up in the top left-hand corner where it says a background color. If I click on that, I can select any color I want for the background color. I like to design on black because most t-shirt sales are on dark colors. Black is the #1 selling t-shirt color, and so I do like to optimize for black specifically when I'm doing t-shirts. Now that will change if you're designing for stickers or mugs, in which case you might have more of a white background. So again, it's always about what it is you're designing for, but for shirts, I'm going to be designing specifically for black. Now, this shirt that I'm going to design is mostly going to be word-based, text-based, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with a text box. If I just hit T on my keyboard, it will pull up a text box. And so for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and start by writing this. And that is going to be my top line there. And then next, I'm going to have another text box that says girl, and I'm going to put hit. And then another text box. This one's going to say 10. And I'm going to do 2 more text boxes here. So every time I'm just hitting T on my keyboard, it's pulling up a new text box for me. That one's going to say double, and then 1 more text box, digits. And so now I have it how I want it. Okay. So by separating these into individual text boxes, it gives me the most ability to kind of manipulate the text how I want it. So this first one, I'm going to make really big. Okay. And so it's going to go something like that. And I'll show you sort of the way I want to do it, and then we'll just go ahead and pick our fonts. Next, I'm going to put girl hit, and that one's going to come kind of straight across the middle like that. 10, I'm going to go ahead and put 10 on the side here like this, and then double digits, I'm going to put right next to it, something like that. So this is going to be sort of my main format. I might go ahead and input like some hearts here to fill it out. And so what I want to do now is find the right fonts. Now that can take you a long time. So the right font is kind of what makes or breaks a design. For this video, I want to show you some different display fonts. So the fonts that I'm going to be using on this video are actually ones that I downloaded for free off of Fabrica. And they give it a really cool look, especially for a little girl's shirt, to have some of those sort of fluffy, fun type designs. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and come up to the top corner. You'll see it says Canva Sans. That is the font that's being used now. If I click on this, I can now start searching through fonts. Now, if I have a specific category like script, I can search for it that way. I can type display, I can type, you know, sports or bold or narrow, so whatever it is I want. Or you could spend hours, you know, just scrolling down through literally every single thing that you have. That could take you a while. Now, everything I have up top here, by the way, all of these fonts that you're seeing, these were all downloaded for free off of Creative Fabrica. I do have a specific video on how to do that. So if you didn't see it, you can always go back up to my channel and just go ahead and search for the video on free fonts from Creative Fabrica. And so there's a lot of really fun display fonts that you can get there. And so I did use a lot of those for this particular design. Again, if you don't want to use those and you just want to use whatever Canva has, you can still do a search for display fonts. So if I search display, all of my fun display fonts will come up and I can, you know, play with these. So again, a good part of the design is coming up with what fonts you want to use. Now, I've already done that because I wanted to save a little time on this video. So the first font that I liked for this was actually a font called Girlish. And so there it is, Girlish Regular. I do believe this is one that I probably downloaded, and it's got this really kind of fun cursive-y look. I don't want to do it all in cursive because honestly, I don't think kids today are learning cursive anymore, so I can't be 100% sure that a 10-year-old will know how to read cursive. So just something to keep in mind. So this is easy to read. So there's my this. And then for my girl hit, again, I've already looked at what font I want. And so the font that I picked for this one was one called Brittany Charming, which is another one that I did download. And if I type it in there, you will see Brittany Charming, and we can see that this is just a really fun, cute little girl's font, and it's got some flourishes here. Of course, you could always add in, you know, these little flourishes individually, so you can pick any font you want, and if you wanted to add a few little hearts here and there, you know, you can do that manually. So there's no reason you couldn't, you know, get something similar to this without having to download this font. Next, I have 10, and for that one, I was going to go ahead and pick one called Royal Bean. And so up here, I'm just going to go ahead, Royal Bean. Let's see, oops, one word, Royal Bean, there it is. And so that is another fun display font. So these are all sort of just really fun display style fonts that would look cute for a kid's design, a kid's shirt. And then lastly, I have my sort of double digits, and I was going to do these both in one font. And the font that I had chosen for this one was something called Always Aurora, I think. So let's try this. Always, and let's see what comes up. Yep, Amora. Always Amora. And I'm going to do that for both of those there. And make that nice and big so you can kind of see the way that this is looking. And again, by doing these lines separately, I can make sure that they're the same length and kind of space everything the way I want it. And so that looks pretty cool there. Again, that looks pretty cool. I've got my this. And so now you sort of can play with some of the spacing, make sure everything kind of looks good. I'm going to put a couple of hearts here too, just so that you can see. I'm going to jump over to Creative Fabrica real quick because I do want you to see how easy it is to get these specific fonts, and I mean specifically these fonts. So if you were to type Creative Fabrica in your browser, you would probably come up with a page that looks something like this. Okay, so this is the Creative Fabrica page, and they have all sorts of freebies. So if you look here at this top bar over to your right, it will say freebies. You can go to all freebies, free fonts, free SVGs, free graphics, and so all sorts of stuff. You can just click on all freebies and it'll show you things at the top. So most popular freebies, these are some of your fonts that you can get. And as I'm scrolling down here, you can see right here is two of the ones that we used. Always Amora. There's one right there, and Brittany Charming, this is the other font that I used, and it's right here, and both of these are free to download. So if you click on it, it says free, you can click download, and you can upload it onto Canva and use it in all of your designs, which is exactly what I did, again, for free. Caveat, again, I do have the Canva Pro account. I don't know if it allows you to do that on a non-pro account. Again, I have a video on how to do this, so if you go up to my channel page and you just search for, you know, free fonts There's a video that shows you how to do this step by step, but pretty much if you go to your brand, you'd have to go back up to the main Canva page. On the left-hand side, there is a tab for brand. And then there is an area where you can upload fonts. And so that is how I did that. Once you've uploaded the fonts, they are always available to you in your font section. So when I come to fonts, you know, first I get sort of what I have on my page, my recently used, and then right under that it says my brand kit. And so all of these fonts here are the ones that I have uploaded, okay? So every time I open a new page, I have all of these uploaded fonts ready for me to go that I can use. And so these are all, you know, I probably have a few hundred fonts here that I got for free off of Creative Fabrica that I do use a lot of. So far, these are all still ones that I've gotten for free, still scrolling. So you can see I have downloaded quite a few of these free ones that I do use on a regular basis. And so it's definitely something that you should look into doing if you have not, and it does make for really fun designs. Okay, there, I ran out of my free ones, and then it goes right down to popular fonts. So that right there is where I end my free ones. And so anyways, back to my design here. My really fun girlish design. I like the way that it looks. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little heart here too because I wanna fill that space. So I'm gonna put a little graphic. I can go over to the left-hand side where it says elements. And here's where I can search for any graphic I want. So I can go ahead and search for heart. And you can filter here by graphics, by photos, by videos. I just want graphics, so I can click graphics here, or I can come down and put see all here. It doesn't really matter. And it is going to show me all of my little heart graphics. For this one, I want, you know, something that kind of looks like it's drawn in. You know, this all kind of has a handwriting look. It's not, you know, it's not super symmetrical or even, so I wouldn't want like a symmetrical heart. I'm looking for something more like this where it looks more hand-drawn, you know, so I can look through, figure out what hearts I want. Like that one's a cute one there. It's got a little bit of a scribble look to it, you know, so some of these little scribble ones look cool. I think I'm gonna go with this one here. It's pretty solid, and I'll go ahead and make it white so I can see it. It is pretty solid, but it does sort of have that, you know, handwritten, hand-drawn look. And I can go ahead and tilt it however I want. And I might even make a couple of them. You know, that's cute, but if I go ahead and click on it, I can hit Control D, that will duplicate it. Now I have another copy. And I can shrink this copy down by dragging the corner in. And I can rotate it. Oops. Move it anywhere I want. So let's say I want to put it right there. So something like that looks cool. So now I've kind of filled in most of the page. It takes up the whole page. It looks good. I've already checked to make sure that this isn't trademarked. At this point, I could just save it like this and put it on a shirt. So if you just want sort of that white on black look, it would be ready to go now. And of course, you can always put up multiple versions of the same shirt too. So if you've got lots of upload space, or you're doing something like Redbubble where you can upload as much as you want, there would be nothing stopping you from uploading a white version like this, and then maybe changing some of the colors of the font, and then uploading another version with some different colored fonts. And so there's a lot of different ways that we could go with this already. I'm gonna go ahead and put a clipping mask on over this because I have seen some really cool clipping mask style ones. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and title it. I'm gonna put this girl, and I'm just gonna call this a frame right now, because this is gonna be my frame for my clipping mask. And so I'm gonna download it. So if I come up to where it says share and I click that, I can go to where it says download. Here I want it to be in PNG. I need it to be a transparent background, and then I can just go ahead and download it. And I'll give it a second to download, and then we're gonna go ahead and find a mask for it. And so it looks like it's already downloaded. And so the mask that I'm thinking is something that's sort of like a pink tie-dye. So I've seen a lot of like tie-dye or watercolor styled designs on Amazon, and this is a little girl's shirt, so I'm thinking, you know, pink, purples, you know, something that really looks cute for a little girl's shirt. So I'm gonna go back over to my elements in my search tab, and this time I'm gonna be searching, let's go ahead and just put pink, and I'll put tie-dye. There's a lot of fun tie-dye stuff. And now I can search graphics, I can search photos, you'll find both. You know, first thing I find is this one looks really cute. It's sort of like a blue purple tie-dye. I kind of like that one. So lots of different styles that you can go with, and any of these would make a fun mask. I do want it to be pretty light in color because, again, I do want it to stand out on this dark background. And so you can go with any of those. And you can take your time looking. There's lots of, lots of fun ways you can go with this. You could also go ahead and look for photos and see if you have any fun pink tie-dye photos, and I do lots of fun pink tie-dye there, so I do like all of those. Look really pretty, nice light colors. That one's got a really nice swirl to it. So let's say I want to go with this one. I like the swirl, I think it's pretty. I do need it to be on top of everything, so if I right click on it, I can go over to where it says bring forward or bring to front, and it should bring it in front of everything, and that's what I want. I need it in front because it is going to be my mask. And now I can rotate this whichever way I want, so I'm going to go ahead and do something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and fill my entire page up so that this is just going to make one big mask over my page. So fill my entire page up. Now I can download it like this, or if I want to edit it at all, I could come up to edit image. And at this point, if I wanted to maybe make it a little more saturated or a little less saturated, I could, so I like it saturated. If I wanted it to be a little bit brighter, I could, or a little bit darker, I could. And so here's where you can kind of play with some of that. You could also do that after the fact as well. So lots of fun ways that we could play with this. But let's say I'm just going to download it kind of as is. I'm going to retitle this, and I'm just going to put pink tie-dye. And I'm going to call it my mask. And now I'm going to just go ahead and download this page. So it's still going to be a PNG. I don't need a transparent background because it's filling up the entire page. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit download and give that a second. And then from here, what we're going to do is jump over to Photopea, where I'm going to go ahead and use a clipping mask. Again, I've gone over this a lot in videos, but I have had some questions, so I'm going to try to clarify those as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right over to Photopea, which I do have open already. So here, if you were to just type photopea.com in your browser, this is the page that you would get. Again, you do not have to sign up for it. You do not need to put in any information. It does not cost you any money. You literally type photopea.com into your browser, and you should be able to get this page right here. From here, you can click this middle button here where it says open from computer, and it's just going to pull up your downloads. And then from there, what you're going to do is download the This Girl frame that you just created. And so I'll click open, give it a second, and it should open my design right here. And so here is my design. It says this girl hit 10 double digits, and there it is. Over on the right hand side, you can see this is my background layer, and currently this is the only layer that I have. Okay, so this is important because when we go to do our clipping mask, we have to make sure we're working with the right layer. So from here, I'm going to go back up to the top, and you'll see where it says file. I'm going to click that, 3 spaces down, open and place, and that's going to open my downloads again. And this time I'm going to select my pink tie-dye mask that I just made, and it will open that. And it should open that and put it right on top. So if I look over here, now I have my 2 layers, and my pink tie-dye mask should be on top of my background layer. Okay, that's what you need to have happen. And your pink tie-dye mask should be highlighted. That's the layer that you're working on. So if, for example, you have the background layer highlighted, then this technique won't work because you're not on the right layer. If, for example, you switch to these so that now you have your background layer on top, again, it's not going to work. So if you're having issues with this, go ahead and check. Make sure that your pink layer is the one on top and that it is the one highlighted. Okay, so as long as your mask is on the top and your frame is on the bottom and your mask is the one that's highlighted, then we should have no problem from here. Coming up to the top of the page again, this time you are going to move over to your right until you hit layer. Go ahead and click on layer. About halfway down, you will see something that says clipping mask. That's the one that you're going to click, and it should automatically put a clipping mask on it. And so this is what it will look like now with the clipping mask. It just went ahead and put that tie-dye right over my frame. And that's how it should be. And then from here, all you have to do is export it. So if we come back up to file, about halfway down, it says export as. We're going to keep it a PNG, so click that. It'll take about a second, but it'll open up a box for you. There you go. The box will have a spot for the name. It'll keep it a PNG. It'll keep it 4,500 by 5,400 pixels. I can retitle it at this point if I want to, just so that I, can keep things organized. So I can put This Girl Tie-Dye if I want to, whatever you want to call it. Quality is usually set for 100. If you drop it down to 96, you won't have any issues opening it on Canva. Sometimes, again, if you have a really detailed picture, a really large file, you won't be able to reopen it on Canva because it'll be too big. If that's the case, all you have to do is just drop your quality down just a tiny bit and it always works. So I keep it at 96, and I just always keep it at 96, and I haven't had any problems. So I'll click save, and it's just going to save it, and then I can jump right back over to my Canva page. So here I am on Canva, and what it did is it went ahead and put that pink tie-dye on the back. So whenever you've got a picture that fills the entire frame, once you click away, it will automatically set that to your background and you won't be able to move it. Now that's fine, this is just my template anyways. But if you wanted to get rid of it, let's say you didn't want this on your background, no problem. You can right click on it, and then it will pull up this box, and you can go down to where it says detach image from background. If you click that, it will detach your image, and then I could drag it right out of the way, and I still have my frame here. Now I'm going to keep my frame here again because I may want to make changes to it, or I may want to use it for other, as a template for other things. So I'm just going to go ahead down to where it says add a page, and I'm going to open a blank page, and this is where I'm going to pull up my my tie-dye design that I just made. So over here at the left-hand corner, you'll see where it says uploads. That's where you can go to upload your new design. So if you click on that and you go to upload files, it should pull up your downloads. You can click your girl tie-dye one, click open, and then just wait a minute. Okay, there we go. So it's uploaded. So now I can just go ahead and drag and drop right onto my page, and I can close this tab. And so here is the design that we just made. And so again, very pretty. I can make it fill the whole page if I want to. I always like to crop it in just a little bit because remember, if it fills the whole page, it will get set to your background. But if you crop it in so it's not quite filling the whole page, it is not set to my background, and I'll be able to move it however I want. I just like to do that in case I feel like playing with it a little. But there you go. This girl hit 10 double digits, and so that is going to be the design that I'm going to upload. If you wanted to, you could put outlines around this. This is now considered an image, which means that you could use any photo effects that you want on it. So you could click on it, go up to edit image, and then any of your usual photo effects you could now use on it, including shadows. If you wanted to do a glow shadow around it to create an outline, you could. If you wanted to, at this point, play with any of the colors, you could. Add any effects, you can. And so all of these you can now do because it is considered a photo. Again, I could come here and, I could make it a little bit brighter if I wanted to really make it pop. So let's say I wanted a little bit brighter. I could saturate it a little bit more. I could add a little bit of contrast if I wanted to. So any of those things just to kind of make it look cool. And so there is the design that I'm going to put up. So I'm going to go ahead, put the full title up here this time. It is going to be This Girl Hit 10, and I'm going to call it tie-dye. Oops. Tie-dye. And you can make several versions of this too using different masks. So there's nothing that would stop you from making this version and then putting like a gold glitter mask on it or a rainbow glitter mask on it, or, maybe any kind of tie-dye, other types of designs, or pastels or watercolors. Those are all popular ones. And so you could always go to your Elements tab, search for backgrounds of any of those, or just put backgrounds and just put a color, and you can see what comes up. And you could use all sorts of different clipping masks on the exact same template and just come up with a whole bunch of different designs just with different clipping masks. You could also use different clipping masks on different parts of the design too. So you could have one clipping mask just for the top half and a different clipping mask just for the bottom half. So there's a lot of ways that you could go ahead and change this, make several different versions of it. And so that's pretty easy there. So I am going to download this one. So I'll come back up, made a sale, come back up to share. I'm gonna go to download. It is a PNG. I do need it to have a transparent background to put it on a shirt. I do wanna select the page. So I only need page 2. So I'll make sure that only page 2 is clicked, and then I will hit done, and it will just go ahead. I can click download, and now it will download it, and it will be ready to upload to any POD platform, and you will be able to put this now on shirts, sweatshirts, tank tops, You could put it on a phone case, you could put it on a pillowcase, you could put it on a sticker, you could put it on a mug. Obviously, at this point, you could go ahead and put it on just about anything and just about any platform. And so that's how you would go ahead and design for this niche. I will be showing you how to upload this on Amazon Merch on Demand in the next video. If you have any questions about this technique or about Creative Fabrica or different kinds of display fonts, you can, of course, put it in the comment section below. I will try to get back to it as quickly as I can. I hope you guys found this informative, and I hope you guys are doing well with your sales, and I hope to see you again. That's it for today's video. If you found this useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.